okay? But right now, I think it's time I hand over to Daryl, and let's see what he's got to say this time we speak to him. I know I'm excited.
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. Most of what you said is very true, but not all of it. So thank you. Hello to everybody. All the gentlemen and ladies that are watching here tonight, because I know there's a few ladies on board too. It's great to be here to be able to help and to be able to kind of just talk a little bit. I've got a little bit of a presentation. I know probably some of you are doing homeschooling, and it's going to be just like homeschooling, except maybe we might have some fun doing this stuff. Okay, so I'll try my best, and we'll try and do the best we can. Okay, so let me just I can share the screen. Here we go. So, okay, everybody can hear. This is for tonight. So this is who I am. I don't look like this anymore. This was me in 2007 when I was in China, and those are deep fried maggots. The old maggots that you fish with. Well, they were deep fried, and they were really, really nice actually. So I knew when I ate them, I could eat haggis any day of the week. So I knew it was going to be fine if I was eating haggis or that type of stuff. But that was deep fried maggot. I've been to China 5 times working with their federation and a lot of the Asian stuff. So who am I? I'm Daryl Easson. I'm 60 years old. I understand I look a little bit older, but I am 60 years old. I was born in Canada in a place called Hamilton, which is very close to Toronto and Niagara Falls. When I was over there, I played hockey up until the age of 19. And when I was 19, I moved to Great Britain. I moved to live with my relatives who lived in Leicester. And then I eventually moved to Nottingham, where I played hockey. I lived in Nottingham for 24 years. I played there. And then after playing there with the Nottingham Panthers, I was lucky enough to win 2 championships with them. One being the Autumn Cup, and the other being when we beat Fife, thankfully. And then the other time we went and we beat Ayr in the national championship at Wembley. In those days, it was. It's now that tournament's now held in Nottingham. So after that, I worked in after playing, I coached, and then I got the opportunity from being able to coach to move to Switzerland and work for the International Ice Hockey Federation. So I did that, went over there with my family and moved there. I have 2 daughters, one who's 31. She lives in Nottingham, just outside of Nottingham, and she has 2 children. They're my 2 grandchildren. And the other one's 22. Her name's Charlotte. She lives in Switzerland, and she actually goes to university in Switzerland now. And she actually plays. So as I said, I played and coached professionally in Great Britain. I played for the Nottingham Panthers, but I also played in Sheffield for 1 season early on before the Panthers started. And then I coached in Nottingham, then I coached in Sheffield for their second team, the Scimitars, and then I also coached the Telford Tigers for a season too. I was also the coach of the Great Britain under-18 team. This is how I got into the Great Britain program. I was there for 7 seasons. I was lucky enough, and during that time, I was able to coach my very first season. Stephen Lynch was one of my players. So it was quite interesting because I played against his dad, and there I was having him as one of my players on my team. So I was quite good. In the middle of that, after 4 seasons, we were able to win a gold medal in promotion from what was there, the 3rd level to the 2nd level, and that was fantastic. We were in Romania, and we had a very good team, and I was very pleased and obviously very proud and happy that we were able to have that situation. A couple of years later, I was named the technical director, the technical and coaching director of Ice Hockey UK, who's still running in ice hockey in Great Britain and work there. And when I moved to Switzerland after that, I was the sports development manager, which included everything to do with coaching development, player development, everything except referee development. And then finally, I moved to Hungary. While I was in Switzerland, actually, I actually coached the women's team. I coached the women's team in Zurich, where we won promotion from the 2nd level to the 1st level in the Swiss league. And then finally, Hungarian Ice Hockey Federation. I got a chance to go there after I left after I left the International Ice Hockey Federation, and I've been there. This is my 8th season, working first of all as a mentor coach. I helped set up the mentor program. I'm now in charge of all the education program for coaches in the country, and working through. We're just releasing a new manual in this next couple of days, so we're quite proud of that. So that's kind of where I am, and that's kind of who I am. Now, I ask this question regularly: what is ice hockey? To me, this is what ice hockey is. I hope we can hear it. Can you hear that?
Daryl, if you go to your settings, you should be able to change your settings to allow everyone to hear.
Okay, good.
Your sharing
Thank you. Settings.
It's your sharing settings. It's your sharing settings.
Sharing settings. Got ya. Thank you. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Where's this? Okay. Old man stuff. Where's this? Where's these sharing settings?
Um,
Remote control, more. Good.
Right, I think you need to just, if you unshare it, Daryl.
Yep. Stop share.
Stop sharing.
Yep.
Hit sharing again. Share screen again.
Mm-hmm.
And then down the bottom, there's a wee tick box that should say
Share sound.
Share sound.
Just got to be smarter than the computer, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's give this another shot here. Sorry, everyone.
Let's go back out to 15 now, where McDermott has taken a lot of time, Gary, to look at this putt. This would drop him to -10.
Well, this is downhill slightly and very fast.
And there's Davis. He makes the save and quickly clears.
Very smoothly done.
Well, that's a brilliant shot. And you don't see that on the scorecard, Gary, but that's the kind of play that wins championships.
Splendid effort from the young man.
Yes, we're here in the pavilion at Manhattan Beach, and you're looking at Christy Ellison. She's up now in the 10th frame.
Needs 2 strikes to win the match. Just like that, she got a great break, a crossover, but she'd like to have this final strike.
And she was striking a bunch in practice.
Well, she has to be disappointed. Did not throw a good shot, and she ends up with a very difficult spare.
Can you imagine that?
I have to tell you a quick story here. I played this video many years. I used to laugh at these two old guys until a year ago. I started to realize I was one of those guys now. So you do get old, so you kind of learn that maybe I don't laugh at them so much anymore.
Griffith is now back in the game.
Now they're going to really have to force the tempo defensively, try to pick this up, look for fast break opportunities.
Griffith at the top of the circle, over to Perry, fires away, and the shot is kicked out. Mullen with the save.
Now this is turning into a real transition basketball game.
No question about it. Typical battle between these two rivals, and now they're going to try.
Well, he's sweating over there, but not because he's losing. Dan Malloy's leading 5-3.
He's got to come back up and hopefully shoot the 5 in the same pocket.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. I think that was the toughest thing. It would appear now that the rack is his for the taking. And there it is.
Notice the cue ball. Center of the table. Bing.
Roddy's lucky to avoid a selection call, and as you can see, there's some action on table number 1.
So, what is ice hockey? Well, it's a sport all other sports want to be, and we're very lucky to be playing it. For me, it's the greatest sport in the world. I know I enjoy being involved in hockey. I enjoy helping, and it is a fantastic sport to be in. But what exactly is hockey? What's so good about it? Well, it's the world's fastest team sport. It's an individual team sport. It's fast, it's physical, there's great skill, and we play as a group and we win as a group. As we say on a lot of things, we play for the logo on the front of the shirt, not the name on the back. We're a sport that does that regularly. And that's one thing I love about our sport. And I know a lot of people that are involved love about it too. So, firstly, I want to apologize. I know Colin Grubb was supposed to be here tonight and supposed to be talking, and I'm sorry for those people that are goalkeepers and wanted to know some things about goalkeeping. Colin played for me. I know his brother Martin's online too, but Martin also played for me too. I gotta say, I'm sorry. I hope Colin's feeling better and gets better. I only know a couple of things about goalkeeping. One of them, goalkeeping. A goalkeeper is a very specific position, individual player in a team sport. And they really are from another world, totally, goalkeepers. I would say I hate goalkeepers, but I can't say that because my daughter's a goalkeeper now, so I can't really say that anymore. I'll just say they are from another world. And really, the only thing I know about teaching goalkeepers is this: stop the puck. So it's probably a good thing I'm not doing the goalie session. Plus, having said that, I did play net. Here are my goalie stats. I played in one game. I couldn't skate backwards when I was 6 years old. Now, this is important to understand because we played on a cross ice, and the rink was slanted from right to left. So I kept gliding out of the net towards center ice in the cross ice, and I couldn't get back into the net. We had 7 shots on net. We lost 6-1. As you can see, 14.29 was my save average. 6 goals against was my goals against average. And I can honestly tell you, I never, ever put the pads on again, ever. And never wanted to neither. I learned very, very quickly that I wasn't a goalie. I didn't have it. I'll tell you what I felt like. I felt like this.
Easy now, is it?
The big difference here is he has actually made a save so far. I took almost to the second period to save it, make my first save. So that's a little bit about me. Hopefully I don't have to talk about myself anymore, and you don't have to listen to that. So I'll give you what the whole idea of today's presentation, talk, get together from my point of view is to as a player, you don't actually know what us coaches want you to do, what we expect from you a lot of times. And I'd like to give you a little bit of insight, a little bit of thought on what we're looking for and how you can help yourself be better hockey players and be in better situations. So here's the big secret. To become a good hockey player, first of all, a player has to be good at what? Now, I'm sure somebody's going to say skating. Yeah, you got to be good at skating. Got to be good at stick handling. Oh, yeah, definitely. Passing and receiving. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with all those things. But you know what they have to be good at? Playing ice hockey. If you want to be a good hockey player, you have to be good at playing ice hockey and everything that goes into it. Now, I put down the bottom here, obviously, but what does that mean? Exactly, what does it mean? Let me just show you what as coaches we look for in players. Here's the hockey basics that we look at. You know, we're talking technical skills. I think we all know what they are: skating, passing, shooting on. But there's all these other things here too. What are your physical skills? Do you have any technical skills? How do you think? What's your mental skills? What's your social skills? Your lifestyle, and the way you work in your lifestyle. Here's information that you can actually save. I won't go through it all. We could be here all night. But as coaches, we look at a lot more than just these 2 or 3 things. We look at all the other abilities too. And these things, of course, change as you get older. I know there's a lot of younger players on, 12, 13 years old. Well, by the time you're 15, 16, you change a little bit. So you start to grow and develop in these things. And this is what we want all our players to learn and develop and to get this information. So don't think that we're just talking about technical skills, because this is one of the things that are happening right now. We have a lot of coaches. We have them here in Hungary. There's loads in Canada, loads in America, loads in Sweden who are skills coaches, and all they do is teach skills, which is great. But skills is just one part of this whole package for you to become a better player and a better person. And this is the kind of things as coaches we start to develop on and start to look at as we go through. Okay? So here you go. Here's some skills for you. I think his skills are pretty good. His deke was excellent. I don't think his seeing is very good at all. This is one of the reasons most coaches lose their hair and it goes gray very, very quickly, because the players doing things like this. This, I believe, is the Austrian league. I would have liked to have got on the ice where I could have actually had that situation. All right. So what are we talking about here? Okay. What we talk about as coaches, what we want our players to do is that we want them to be professional. Now, I know there's a lot of people going to say, "Oh, I don't get paid for coaching. I don't get paid for playing." Here's something I used to tell the Great Britain under-18 team regularly. Professionalism starts in your heart and your head before it shows up in your wallet. So that means there's really things as a player at any age you can do to be better, because you put yourself in the right mindset and become better at what you're doing. Things like good habits. Looking at what the good habits are as a player. Now, I'm not talking about wearing a shirt and a tie and a Gucci suit to games. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about good habits, about being on time, doing the right things when you're on the ice, being there for your teammates. Those are good habits. Being accountable for everything that you do. So if something goes wrong, you say, "Hey, look, I made a mistake there. How can I make that better?" Accept responsibility. Someone needs to do it. Who's the person who's going to step forward and do that for me as a coach? Those are the things I know as a coach I always look for, and I was always searching for when I was coaching. And can you think outside the box? Because not every piece of information is going to be in Daryl Eason's head, or Stephen Lynch's head, or Barry Carnegie's head, or even Martin's head. And they're not going to be in a book. Maybe out of nowhere, they might come out of your head. You just think, "Hey, why can't I do this?" and try it. Okay? So thinking out the side of the box when it fits inside of what you're doing on a team is a very important thing. Here's a thought. Visions and goals. Knowing where you are and where you want to be. When we were working here in Hungary, last couple of years, we've sat the kids down who are 14, 15 years old and said, "Where are you in 5 years' time?" Have you ever thought about where you want to be as a hockey player in 5 years' time? And we would get players going, "Oh, I want to play for the national under-20 team. I want to play for my local team and all that." But you know what? Why not the NHL? Why isn't the NHL on your reasoning? Hey, we might not make it, but you're definitely gonna not make it if you don't put it on your list. Think big and think, what can I do to get there? Can I do that? And there's always an opportunity to do it. Let's face it, The person in this picture here was drafted into the NHL. Okay? So remember that. So the thing is work and look as far as you can in front to think of what we can do. And then look at these other things. Quality. Look at doing everything that you need to do. And everything you do it as perfectly as possible. And if you can't do it perfect today, you try and do it tomorrow perfectly, or your next practice. You skip any limits. Oh, you can't. Oh, I can't do that. Why not? Only because you say it? Anything can happen. And you find new and your own ways to do things. This is what a professional does. Once they start doing these things, that's when the players start to grow from this area here to this area over here, where they make money playing. And they become a professional hockey player and become up to an elite hockey player as well. So, as coaches, what are we looking for? Now, this works very much when we have teams, but especially when you start to go to Scotland camps or Great Britain camps. What we're looking, as coaches, we're looking for something specifically from our players. We're looking for certain things. Firstly, we're looking at playing skills. What are they like on all the technical skills? Can they skate? Can they pass? Can they shoot? Can they receive passes? Can they check? Can they protect the puck? Can they do those things? What are they like with hockey sense or game sense? If you don't know what that is, that means, can you play the game and can you understand the game when you're playing it? Intensity and work hard are pretty much the same thing. Do you work hard and do you try as hard as you can when you're there? These are playing skills that we look at. More importantly, though, we look at character skills too. Who's the leader on the team? Does he have leadership skills? Does he have a positive attitude? Are they the leader, and are they always helping other players out and being there for them as the positive influence? They have focus. They look and see what they want to do, and they're there. That fits into their work ethic too. Are they coachable? So can a coach, can you come in not understanding and understand that no matter where you play at, whether it be Elgin or Aberdeen, or when you go down to Dumfries to try out for or practice with the Scottish teams, there's a lot of things you're going to not know when you get there, because there's certain expectations that the Scottish national team coaches are expecting, and they will have to teach you. So are you open to being teachable and coachable, that you can understand those things and try those things out? That fits in the next one. Do you have a desire to improve? Do you want to get better? Or are you just happy being there and all that? Hey, there's lots of spaces for people who are happy to be there, but they're not going to improve and they're not going to move forward. That's the thing. So as a player, you have to decide, do I want to get better? Yes, well, then I need to figure out what I have to do. I can ask my coach can help me, and he'll point you in the direction. And finally, personal enjoyment. Are you enjoying what you're doing? We say this a lot to coaches, actually, when I do coaching courses, is if youngsters if they're not enjoying themselves, they're not going to be here very long. So make sure if you are enjoying yourself, great. Do everything you can to the hardest ability that you're enjoying yourself. We spend a lot of time on these, looking and seeing who we have. Now, you have to understand, if we have somebody who has all these skills and none of these skills, he's not going to make a team. If he has all these skills and he has none of the playing skills, he's not going to make the team. But if he has most of these and a lot of these, yes, that's the player I'm looking for. Because if he's got a desire, if he's coachable and he has a desire to improve, we can teach him some of these other things. But that's you that have to come up with that information. You have to have it in your head, I'm going here to do my best and to learn. Every time I go to practice, my coach is going to teach me and try to teach me something new. So that's great. But you have to understand, this is something that we use a lot when we're coaching, especially in elite levels coaching and also elite level hockey and national team hockey. And it's this one here. And this isn't the exact same because I didn't want to swear on this, so I won't. The no idiot rule. You know what that means? That means as a nation, Scotland I know fairly well. I know Great Britain even better. You've gone past the point that an idiot who's got all these skills here will make the team. If a guy is an idiot, then he doesn't make the team because we have other people that are good enough and have all these skills that can replace him. And this is an important thing to understand for you. I know, hey, I'm as stupid as anybody is. Well, or I certainly was when I was younger. But there's a time and a place to be serious. And when you're working and you're trying to do something in hockey, that's part of the time. Once we start looking at trying to learn in that's got serious time. Here's another one to remember too. You're always being watched. Watched all the time. I'll give you a quick example. First year I coached the Great Britain under 18 team was 1993-94. It's a long time ago. Geez. Stephen Lynch was one of my players. Martin Grubb was one of my players too. So the first set of trials we did in October 1993. We try out, and there's these two players, two brothers from a club, and they're pretty good. We hadn't seen them before, but they're pretty good. There was a younger guy who was a goalie, and the older guy he was a forward. They have pretty good skills, and both were the same age as for me, but they were young. They were good enough to maybe get a look at in the U20 team as well. Well, then okay, fine. We'll have a look at this guy. Why don't we have a look at him? Then all of a sudden I get a report that these kids' team had played this other team. And they played in Sunderland, in actual fact. They're playing in Sunderland, and during the game, the forward came to the bench and spit on the bench of Sunderland players, and then started calling them every name that you can think of and saying, "Come on, I'll fight all you guys. Any one of you, come on and jump on the ice with me." And his brother then came over to back him up. Guess who the coach of that Sunderland team was? The Great Britain U20 coach. And guess who the manager of that Sunderland team was? Yes, the Great Britain U18 manager. Guess who didn't go to the World Championships? Either of them. Both of those guys. Because if that's what you're going to do there, what are you going to do when we're away from home? What are you going to do? So if you want to make it right and you want to do it, remember, people aren't spying on you, but they're always there. They always see stuff. And as coaches, I always worked on an assumption. Would I want this player playing for me in March when we were playing for a gold medal? And I have cut players because of that. Because the answer to that was definitely no. So remember, these are the type of things we're looking at. Hockey skills, good hockey skills, but good people skills too, with your character. Okay, so during practice, what are we looking for practice as a player? What are we looking at? What if you want to really do well during a practice, not only for your coach, but for yourself? What should you be doing? Here's an idea. A player should learns and develops all their fundamentals during practice. Plays the games the way they practice. So, and this has been since I was a young kid. You play the way you practice. So if you're late for practice and you skate around to do nothing for half an hour and decide, oh, we'll have some fun and all, that's how you're going to play. And that's the way it's viewed by the coaches too. You win your game, you win your games in practice. As a player, you practice the things that you want to improve. Yes, you practice the things that you're good at, but if you want to, you also practice the things that you want to improve. I'm sure a lot of you guys watch football in Scotland. You do play football, I believe. So, or there is football there. That's a bad joke, sorry. But how many players who are good players but can only kick with one foot? Why is that? This was something that was said about I can remember an English player many years ago, a guy called David Beckham. He was supposedly a great crosser, but he couldn't kick with his left foot. Then he went out of his way to actually set up 3 goals one game with his left foot too. This is something that players have to get into. If I'm good at wrist shots, great. But I need to start working on my snapshot too, and we'll look at those type of things. Okay. Player also competes during practice. So when there's a drill where there's people going, you're going one-on-one or you're working against somebody else, you have to compete. But Pete, what do you mean? Why is that? Because this gets you used to competition during games. But guess what? When we play games and the other team has a different color shirt, they're not going to give you the puck. You have to get that puck. You have to want that puck. And that's competing. And that starts in practice. You have to, it teaches you to work at a higher intensity, push yourself further, and it gives you better focus on what needs to be done during a game. And really gives you more game situation rules. Let's face it, in practice, we work and compete, but I don't know how many practices most of you guys get during the week. I assume it's 1, maybe 2, and that's good. But unfortunately, that's what it was when I used to live in Britain too. And you're going to be playing against teams like Hungary that get 5 practices a week. So what does that mean, that you're going to lose to them? No. To be exact, the last time Great Britain and Hungary played each other at the U18 level, Great Britain won. Why? Because the players knew how to compete. They knew how to work at a higher intensity. They focused, and they knew a lot more about game situations because they worked that way the whole time. But this is something you need to look at. You don't get enough ice time to say, no, I don't want to do this one. Work all the time while you're out there and work the best and try and do the best you can in every single drill. So I'm going to show you something here. This is from the Raisin camp in Sweden. This is their best U17 players. This is from about 4 years ago. I was lucky enough to go to this camp 2 years ago to watch. They have their best U17 and U18 players. The game is this. It's 2-on-1 and 2-on-1. The first team to score, that's the end of the game. The first 2 to score, that's the end of the game. Watch the way these guys compete, how they compete to try and score goals. Over. Now watch this one. Look what he does with this puck. Okay, so they're competing all the time, and at the end, they'll keep score. So who wins, the blue team or the yellow team? I'll give you another example of this. Is we had a U16, where it has gone in Great Britain, in Hungary. We had a U16 camp at the beginning of the year in Hungary. We had 4 teams playing. So what's that, 4 times 20? We have about 80 players altogether. And what the coach of the U16 team did, he kept score of every single game during practice. And these are the actual scores. They played 9 games during a practice. Which guy won? Who was on the team that won? Who was on the teams that lost? Who scored the game-winning goals? what their plus minuses were, and then what their winning percentage was. Now you have to understand these are the best players that we had in Hungary at the time. But this is something to make guys think how important it is at the level that they practice at. I'll tell you what, I don't understand a lot of Hungarian as it's being made quite obvious, but when there's a couple of kids who were down in this area who were absolutely amazed they were in this area, absolutely stunned. And this was done before a game, so they got ready and they played some of the best they could because they realized everything was being watched. This is how important it is to compete. If you give up on one thing, I don't want to do this one, you might not get another chance. So make sure you don't give up on anything. Make sure you're pushing and all that. This is the way coaches think. They look and they watch these things. I'm not suggesting your coach is going to do this, but remember, it's about how hard you compete in these situations. Okay, a little bit of game philosophy. So you beat the practice, you work hard. What do we as coaches expect from you when you're on the ice, when you're playing? Well, 1, 2, 3. We want you to pressure all the time to go get the puck. We have a problem in Hungary that we, as a nation, we were great at trapping, standing back and letting teams come to us. Over the last 3 years, we have changed the mentality, so players do this all the time. They force the puck. On offense, we attack the net. We attacked in 1s, we attacked in 2s, we attack in 3s, we attack in 4s. We attack the net. In defense, we always pressure the puck carrier because we want the puck back. We do it all over the ice, no matter where it is. We don't let them come at us. We go to them. This is what we expect. This is what you should be doing and looking. You stress and press the opponent to make them make the mistakes. If you force them, then they have to come up and make better plays. If they don't, you win the battle. And that's what we expect from players. Now, the other thing I'm going to do here is we play cross-ice hockey a lot in Hungary. We play about 150 cross-ice tournaments a year at U8 and another 150 at U10. And the question always comes up, are there tactics for U8s and U10s? And really, basically no, because there's no breakouts, there's no forechecking systems, But yes, there are tactics. And these tactics are very, very, very good at all ages. And it takes your game philosophy and it puts it very, very simply. Here it is. If you lose the puck, get it back. Simple. Don't think about it, just go do it. If we lose the puck, get it back. When you have the puck, keep it in your team. Don't give it away. Don't dump it in the corner unless you have to. Keep it with you, give it with your teammates so we can actually keep the puck and have a better chance of winning. And finally, when you get near the net, shoot the puck, but shoot to score. Those are the 3 most important things. And that doesn't work, as I said, that doesn't work just with U8s and U10s. That works with all hockey. This is an important thing. These three steps, we push this all the time during all our coaching courses in Hungary because it makes it so simple. You don't have to get technical. Get it back, keep it in your team, and then shoot it. But if you remember one thing, playing and learning is best when it's fun. If you're enjoying yourself and you're having fun, then that's when you can learn the most and you can do the most. And that's partly that now falls onto the coaches to make sure that you're having fun. But you have to make sure that you're having fun too. I'll show you about playing with joy. This player here is a player from the Hungarian U18 team. Sorry, he played for the U18 team 2 years ago against Martin Grubbs and Barry's team in Szekesfehérvár. He's now part of the U20 program. This is him playing pro hockey. This is his first goal that he scored. He's ever scored in pro hockey.
És így már Terbocs jöhet. Terbocs benszor van a Csollák lövőhelyzet. Gól! Gól, hatalmas gólt ragad Csollák, és na ilyet még nem láttam. Nem tudom, hogy önök láttak még ilyet. Csollák gól öröménél megrúgott a palánk, és kiszakadt a palánk. Hát na ilyet még nem láttam. De
reméljük Csolláknak semmi baja nem történt.
talán még akik közvetítenek akármilyen mérkőzést, még ők se láttak talán ilyet. Hát Csollák hatalmas gólt lő egy emberfülényes szituációból, és kiszakadt a palánk.
There's actually the guy here who's the photographer has got some fantastic pictures, stills of him hitting the glass, going through the glass, and all the way down before he had to get away. So yes, this is a 19-year-old player. That's his first professional goal of all time. So he was pretty excited, and like I said, he became quite famous both in Hungary and in quite a few podcasts too because of this celebration. Okay. Conclusion, quality and commitment. Here's a few things to think of, just statements to think about. Enthusiasm, positive attitude, enjoy yourself. Go out there and enjoy it. If you go somewhere and go, oh man, I'm not really enjoying myself, well then maybe you shouldn't be there. I'm not saying you shouldn't play hockey. I'm just saying, remember, if you got the possibility to play this fantastic sport, enjoy it. And have a positive attitude about it. This is important. Be on time and be ready for everything so there's no stress. I'll be honest with you, from a coach's point of view, being late isn't cool. Being the last guy on the ice, being on the ice before everybody else is on the ice, that's not good, because that starts to fall into the idiot rule, okay? So try and make sure that you're on time and doing your best. Now, if mom and dad are in a traffic jam and you can't get to the ice rink on time, yes, there's a situations, and I'm sure they'll contact the coach. But the thing is to sit around in the dressing room and do nothing and be late or never be on the ice on time. That's not good. That shows you in a bad light, and the coaches notice that. Set a goal for practice. Never skate through. This is the one where you step on the ice, you have the player who just skates around and doesn't really do anything during practice. He's just there. No, you don't have enough practices to be able to waste one. So set a goal for practice. I'm going to learn how to lift the puck today. When I go in and shoot on net the one time or two times I'm going to get that check, I'm going to try and go right to the roof of the net, or I'm going to try and hit the crossbar. Set a small goals all the time. When there's a drill, once you know what it is, concentrate on it and focus on everything. Focus on what needs to do, what needs to be done. Try and do it to the best you can. If the coach corrects you, listen to what they say and go back and do it. Follow through on the drills. So what this means is, if somebody passes you the puck, make sure you receive it. If you pass the puck, make sure you hit the other player on the stick. Make sure they're good passes. If you have a shot, make sure you're taking the shot and you're shooting to score every time. It hits the net. You're trying to score. Follow through in every part of the drill. Everything that you're doing. If there is checking, then you make sure you check the player. Not to hurt him in practice, but you do a proper check. No fear, no regrets. Don't think too much. Just get out there and do the 3 steps. But make sure you listen to what the coaches are saying and do it. Don't be worried, and don't worry about what happened. Just keep doing to the end of the practice. Test your limits. This means that skate faster than you've ever skated. Work to skate as fast as you can. You know what? I'm sure you're going to tell me, oh, but I'm going to fall down. Hey, your mom and dad have paid 400 pounds for equipment. You're not going to hurt yourself. So don't worry about it. Work, because you know what? You keep doing that hard, eventually you're going to be able to do it. And when you're able to do it, you've tested your limits, you've pushed your limits, and you're moving to something better. Okay? So don't be happy, well, this is what I'm good at. I'll stick with it inside my little box. No, step outside your box. Practice at game-like speed. Sorry, it's games-like, but sorry. Practice at game-like speed. Push it all the time so that you're working. That when you get to the game, you're used to playing at that level. Used to playing against that level of competition too. But of course, enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the people that you're spending time with. Have fun in this community of ice hockey, because when I do courses, you know that there's less than 2 million registered ice hockey players in the world. We have 83 nations. So it's not a big sport. This is a very, very small sport, and we're all in this together. And you should be enjoying. We hope that you enjoy yourself and that you have a good time and you contribute and can contribute to what we're trying to do here. But please enjoy yourself and have fun while you're playing. Okay, so I know, I understand. I put these two videos together because I know you're going to might get some questions on, well, what the heck can we do because we're not on the ice? Exactly. I'll tell you right now, my heart goes out to you because it's a terrible situation that you guys are stuck in. We're lucky in Hungary. We're in a very good situation. We've had hockey all year. We have it. The parents can't come into practices or games, but all our teams are playing. All our teams are practicing, and we've been lucky enough to actually keep going without. Actually, I think we had 1 month stop, but that was over in August or something like that. So we've been lucky. But there's a lot of things you can do off the ice. There's a lot of things. I wasn't a big off ice person when I was playing, but there's lots of things you can do. Here's a few ideas. These are both Swedish videos. This quickly shows you some of the things that you can do.
Bra Simon, bra Edvin.
Agility ladder.
Ja, Filip. Ja, rulla på.
And I'll tell you something now. Everybody, I know a lot of people will tell you, oh, about hockey, you don't need to be able to run fast and all that. Garbage. It doesn't come about running or skating. It comes about your muscles. If your muscles work quickly when they're running, they will work quickly while they're skating. Okay, so that's why to start with, there's quite a bit of stuff about running. There's running drills here. Talking fast feet, quick feet here.
Bra Vibba. Kom igen. Ja, bra. Ja, bra. Bra killar. Jättebra. Och så blir det andra hållet för nästa gäng då, eller när vi kommer fram igen då. Klara?
Just before we go to this one, you might be interested to know teams in Sweden, they do it in Hungary too. Usually they'll do those type of ladder drills before they go on the ice. So they'll do their off-ice training, then they'll go on the ice for the practice. This is a speed drill, but it's a teamwork drill too.
Kör!
And make sure the stick stays up so the other guy can get it as he runs across. There's a slalom. I'll work a little bit on strength now. Some push-ups, press-ups. Sit-ups. Now this is squatting. But this is done like this because this is flexibility. I do this quite a bit myself because being an old man, I need to be flexible, or try to be flexible. Let me put it that way. But the whole idea here is you put the hockey stick in your hand. You put your arms above your head. Make sure they're straight above your head, and you squat down. When you squat, your heels of your feet should be still on the floor when you're squatting. You'll feel this in your shoulders. You also feel this through your back and your hamstrings. And there's a whole group of guys doing it. Okay. But, hello, sorry, previous. One other one I've got here too. Now I've got another video, which I haven't included here, of an old video, and I didn't realize I had it, but it's got Brad Marchand and Claude, what's his name from?
Claude Giroux.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate that. Yeah. They're on this video doing some of their off-ice summer training many years ago. So it's quite interesting. But I don't have that right now. What I do have is some stuff about shooting and what you can do off-ice when you're shooting. You can tell this is a Swedish video because it's finished in bulky. Now this is the draw and shoot. And if you've got a friend, then the two of you can work together. Okay, let me just come out of that. Pull that down. That's where we are with that. All I'm trying to say to you in the end, these are things, but right now, as players that don't have ice time, there's lots of other things you can do that can help your hockey, including have a stick handling ball or a tennis ball, working in stick handling and working with those type of things too. It's all about working with your skills, whatever skills you have. And if you want the numbers are this. Canada have 33 million. Canada have 33 million people. They have 500,000 hockey players. The United States have 330 million people, and they got 400,000 hockey players. Sweden have 10 million people. They have something like 70,000 hockey players. Finland have 5 million people. They got 40 million hockey players. But Finland and Sweden keep up with Canada and the United States regularly. How do they do it? Off-ice training. It's as simple as that. That's how they get all the extra skills, all the extra time, and they have the higher quality that actually comes through. So with these guys that are coming in next week and working with you for fitness training, that's important. So it's great to see the Scottish Federation are actually doing some of these, are actually starting to push in those type of things too. That's me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Daryl.
That was great. Let's take some questions then, huh?
Okay.
Who wants to shout them out? Myself, Barry, or Martin? Who's doing it?
Do you want me to start then, Lynchy? I'll start.
Go for it then. All right, go on.
Right, from Finlay Sawyers. What do you prefer, coaching or playing?
What do I? That's a good question. Nowadays, Finlay, I prefer coaching. When I was a player, I did both quite a bit, but I enjoy coaching because I like the whole idea of teaching and seeing people get better and better. That's it. It might be an age thing, about I think more than everything.
Yeah, I'd like to be young enough to play as well, Daryl.
Yes.
Okay, Harris McMillan. How do you say I love hockey? I'm not sure. Do you mean in
Read down.
Hungarian.
Read down. I figured this one out. The next bit's in German. He's
in German? Sorry, in German.
Question. So I'm getting trick questions now, am I? That's good.
Tested on your language skills.
Yeah.
Ich liebe hockey.
Ich liebe hockey, yes, that's right.
Google Translate, Daryl. Google Translate.
He's very good.
Thanks, Mark.
I love hockey. Definitely.
We know what goal scorer is, Mac. We can do that one. Goal scorer in German is Torjäger.
Torhüter is goalkeeper.
Yeah, Torjäger is goal scorer.
Verteidiger is defenseman.
Okay. So here's a good one for you, Daryl, from Zach, from Lanarkshire again. What is your favourite drill, on or off the ice? Do you have a favourite drill?
My favorite drill, one of the favorite drills I have, is a game where we play football on the ice. So you have a football, you have you have 3 players per team, but they also have a stick and a puck at the same time. So you have to keep stick handling while you're kicking the football. So this helps you do 2 things at once, keeps your balance, and you can't kick the football when you don't have the puck on your stick, and you can't hit the football with your stick.
Okay, good answer. Have you got a favourite off-ice drill, Daryl?
There's a good question. Same drill.
Yes. Hard to play with your skates on, though. Off-ice. Okay, Rebecca from Aberdeen. How many games have you played in total?
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of adding. I think if you go into the ice hockey website for Great Britain, I think I played in something like 250 to 300 games, somewhere in that number.
Yeah, this is just not just about coaching, it's a memory test as well, Daryl.
Yes, I know it. I can see it. Cool.
Memory test, maths, languages.
Yeah.
This is what you signed up for.
Ik liebe ice hockey.
Yeah. Ashton from North Ear under 13s. What is your favourite leg stretch?
What's my favorite what?
Leg stretch.
Leg stretch. Well, I like doing personally. I like doing lunges. Lunges are one of my favorite things to do. Yes, as you get better at them, you can actually do them with weights too. But lunges are a very good leg exercise, leg stretching exercise and muscle exercise too.
Okay, from
questions are coming from all angles tonight, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Question from Darren from Murrayfield under 13s. What was your best game?
Was my best team?
Game?
Yeah.
I think he's maybe meaning you played a favourite game. Do you remember a game that was memorable?
I can tell you 2 games that I remember they're memorable. One was in Murrayfield against the Murrayfield Racers. We lost 10-7 to Murrayfield. I was playing for the Nottingham Panthers. And Tony Hand got 3 goals and 7 assists. He was by far the best player on both teams, not even close. It's the best performance I've ever seen and played against. The other memorable one I had was only once in the Premier when it was a Premier League in Britain, I won the Man of the Match award. That was when we were in Whitley Bay. We lost 24-1, and I scored our only goal. And it was for you older guys knowing, I was being chased by Dave Ross, and I had Peter Graham in front of me as the goalkeeper. I just wanted to score and get the heck out of the way. So those are my two of my most favorites. One of my most favorite ones was when we won at Wembley too, of course, in 1988. So that was fantastic, winning the national championship.
Yeah. Okay. A question from Claire Lomas. I'm not sure what you mean, Claire. I don't know if you want to post up. I don't know if it's a question or a statement. You use your legs to skate.
That was in relation to the off-ice running drills.
Was that holy
Just a statement around that.
Exactly, that's right. See, this is the thing. When I was at the Raisin camp 2 years ago, what they do is they have them do endurance running and then endurance skating, and then they check the 2 times, and they have a percentage time to make sure that they're within those the same region, that they're equal somehow. And if they're not, then they figure out if there's a problem with the skating stride or a problem with the running stride. This is why Sweden's third best nation in the world compared to a lot of us. They do all these type of things, and you're right, Claire. It all comes down the legs. If they move quickly, then they can move quickly if they know how to skate too.
Okay, Barry, you want to take a shot at asking questions?
Yep, I'll go from here. So Joe in Fife wants to know, who's the best player you've worked with?
Best player I ever coached was a guy called Jonathan Weaver. I don't know if he still plays in Telford now, but he was a former national team player, played in Nottingham for quite a few seasons, originally from Durham. He's the best player I ever had as a player, and that was as a U18. The reason is this, quite simply. He was the last guy to come into the dressing room before practice, first guy on the ice, last guy off the ice, because he was shooting pucks the whole time, getting it, bring the pucks, give it to you, go in the dressing room, first guy out of the dressing room, ready to go back to the hotel. He was just business the whole time, right from the age of 16 years old. And that's when we talk about professionalism, I think exactly along those lines. He was just, there it was right there. So he's the best player. He is the best player I've ever worked with on
Daryl, I can't tell you how disappointed I am hearing that. And I can see Spud shaking his head as well. What makes it even worse is I think it was my son that asked that question. That was your big moment to bump my tires there, and you've just absolutely ruined it for me.
I like playing against your dad. I gotta say that. The only other player that would rate with that is a goalkeeper I had in Switzerland, a woman called Florence Schelling, who in 2010 won a bronze medal at the Olympics. She's the best goalkeeper I've ever coached or had on my team. I didn't coach her. She was by far in this women's team we had. She was 19 at the time. She was the third best shooter on the team with a goalie stick. You know, she just fantastic skills, fantastic hard work ethic, the whole thing. And it all comes down to, as a coach, going back to the whole work ethic thing.
I think just on the professionalism thing there, Jonathan Weaver is a really, really good example of that for all you kids. Jonathan Weaver, he's not a person from the dim and distant past. He's still playing professional hockey yet. I think he's still with Telford. So, and you know, he'll be 40, early 40s, and because of his professionalism, he can still play at that age. And I think if we all looked after ourselves that way, there'd be a lot of us still wishing we could skate around the rink, I think.
Oh yeah, the thing I can remember when they used to come to Nottingham, when Sunderland, not Durham, Sunderland used to come to Nottingham, and they had this little kid sitting on the bench called John Boy, and it was under 12 team, and John Boy was 6 years old, and between periods they pick him up, put him on the ice, he'd skate like this, pick him up with John Weaver, and he's still playing nowadays, but he had all the things. He played in the he played in the AHL and the East Coast League for one season too. He was a good hockey player, and he had all, like you said, he had all that professionalism. He's a good person to actually look up to.
Yep. Okay, I got a question from Cooper from Aberdeen Lynx. Okay. He wants to get right into the nitty gritty. Have you ever broken a bone on the ice?
Yes, fractured my right wrist, broke my nose 4 times. That's it. That's all I've ever done on the ice.
Good. I think he was wanting the gory details.
I know Cooper I know Cooper. I was up there.
Yeah. Marco Guerrio from Lanarkshire under 15s. What is your favourite position to play and why? I'm taking it it's not netminder.
No, absolutely not. When I played, I was a right winger. I was a left-handed right winger. I like playing that because I like to be able to cut in and shoot from there. As I got older and slower, a center was great for me because I could stand behind younger wingers who would go in and force the puck and try and read it. So obviously, definitely forward. The funny thing was, is when I became a coach, I spent a lot of time playing in defense and learned more about the defensive side of the games, try and teach players. But yeah, a right winger, definitely.
Okay, David Bax, who's a coach at Lanarkshire. He's pumping more tires here. The whole talk was excellent. Question for, well, this is for us. Yeah. How do we convince Daryl to come and work in Scotland full time? I think the quote is from, what's the film again with Tom Cruise? Show me the money.
Show me the money here. Sorry.
I think Daryl would have to take a pretty hefty pay cut to come and work in Scottish ice hockey. But the good thing is, any time that we reach out to Daryl to come and do anything, whether it's come over to Scotland for a seminar, do something via Zoom, he's always willing to give us his time and lend a hand.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I think that's the thing that's been really refreshing from these sessions and stuff that we're doing, is the amount of people that's out there in the hockey world that's willing to help us is great, and they give up their time to do that, and that's exactly what we appreciate and what's so good about the sport. CJ from Fife, he would like to know what off-ice drill would be a good one for a defenseman.
You know what? When you're doing things, once again, the same as running, is moving backwards. If you're doing things where you're changing directions, so you're going up, run forward towards someplace, turn, come backwards, up forwards, backwards. Because let's face it, that's where you're going to spend a lot of your time. And the whole thing about being a defenseman, when you're defending, is keeping your shoulders and your hips square to up ice. So you're doing this the whole time. Your body is always facing up ice. Your leg, your knees, and everything comes from your knees and your legs. That's how you turn. You don't turn your whole body and run like this. So if you can do those type of things, and if you want, take a puck, take a stick and a ball, and be stick handling while you're moving forward and while you're moving backwards, and you get used to keeping your feet looking, and you still have the ability to learn your stick handling.
Okay. Getting through these now. A few more. Aaron Wood, under 13 from Dundee. He'd like to know, what are some good habits to get into to improve your hockey skills? I think possibly habits to get into at the moment when we don't have ice.
If you know what, if you've got a stick handling ball, use a stick handling ball. So you're constantly got the ball in your hand. You're constantly stick handling and doing things like that. Learning sorts of different skills too. I don't know if you've ever seen a lot of goalies now are starting to juggle, learn how to juggle or play the ball. Well, that's a good skill for everybody to learn. You know, to learn. So you get, because it's these little type of dexterity drills that help you when you start to play. Because let's face it, there's lots of different skills. There's about throwing, and then there's throwing with something in your hands. So that's what we're doing. We're not just doing eye-hand coordination. We're doing eye-hand stick coordination. So doing lots of things so you get that level of coordination. So anything that you're doing, and yeah, I've lost my train of thought. That was good. And,
okay, I know what you meant.
Okay, good. Maybe you can translate it.
Yeah. You know more languages than me, though. Brody K from Lanarkshire. You said Finland and Sweden are small hockey nations, but a lot of players, high percentage of good players. What do you think is missing from the UK to produce the same standard of players? Is it belief in themselves, ice time, coaching, all of that?
That's a great question. Well done. Yeah.
That's deep in it.
Because the scary thing, if before we go there, the scary thing is that Great Britain have more hockey players than Denmark, Latvia, and just under the amount that Slovakia have. So so we're not, when you look at numbers, it isn't for. I think it's definitely ice time and competition. You have more ice time, you have more training. So if we don't have the ice time, then you got to do the off ice training to actually make it up. You know, there's the thing that we call the 10,000 hour rule, that you do something 10,000 times or 10,000 hours, then it becomes permanent. Well, that doesn't mean you have to be on the ice all that time. That means you're doing something all the time to help yourself get better, which is working off ice, which is stick handling, which is shooting, which is doing some of these other things. All those type of things fall into that queue, and that's some of the things is getting all the game put together. Is there's the amount of rinks here, but it's being given the amount of respect from other people. But when you get on the ice, to make sure the level of the training and the level of the competition is good enough.
Yeah, good. And I think to go with that, I think you need to remember that there's 24 hours in the day here, just the same as there's 24 hours in the day in Finland. You can, if you can find things to fill your time and practice, exactly. They've got the same YouTube as we do.
Exactly.
There's always something to be doing.
Roughly translated, kids, is get off your Xbox now and again.
Yeah, that as well. You're not going to learn hockey on Fortnite. So this one's actually a really good message and really worth bringing up on these Friday night sessions. It's from I think it's Pete in Aberdeen. You mentioned in the conclusion the part about enthusiasm, and Daryl, you also mentioned asking if you should be there if you're not happy. But Pete's saying we should be able to mention if we're unhappy and able to let someone know, especially the way things are just now. And we're doing all these sessions to help folk, and probably it's just as much about mental health and people feeling good and feeling okay. Daryl also mentioned a bit about the community, the ice hockey community. We're a small hockey nation. We all know each other, and I think the guys would back me up and say we're all here to help each other. So that's a really important message.
Going even to not so much the mental health side, but the helping side. I mentioned to you three guys earlier this week is that I've had the Hungarians reach out to Great Britain to see if we can help out with their preparations for this year's World Championship, because we know they're going to be desperate for games. So that's part of the community, right? Everybody kind of knows where people are to try and help each other out. That's why these things work so well. We've been doing them all the time now in Hungary. We do them. I'm on a national team call. I'm on a development call, and also we're doing Learn to Play as well as this. So that it's constantly being together and just working through all problems and challenges that we have. Because I told my girlfriend. I told my girlfriend's son, he's 19. I said, I'm 60 and I've never been through anything like this before. This is a very weird and unique situation, but we can't sit here and cry about it. We could what we need to do is say, okay, fine, this is what it is. Let's figure out a way of making something good come out of this, or at least for us to kind of come out to where we need to be at the other end. This is what you're doing here, which is fantastic.
Yep. Good. Mikey Duffy in Lanarkshire. What is your most favourite team you've played for or coached? So no sitting on the fence here, Daryl.
Oh, sorry, I've got.
Pick a favourite.
My most favourite team I've coached was the 1997 Great Britain U18 team that we won the gold medal with. That was my, of course, that was my favourite team because we were successful. So and it was a good. It was a fun team to work with. So yeah. Played with? There's a good question. It's a long time ago. I can't say.
Okay. Okay, three more, and then we'll aim to wrap up just in the next 10 minutes because it's been a good session tonight. Eric Young from Ayr Bruins. From your knowledge of Scottish ice hockey, what advice would you give to further develop the sport in this country and take it to the next level? I think you could talk for about 3.5 hours on this one.
Yeah.
No, how much time have we got?
You know what? I think it comes down to the word that we use quite a bit during this presentation: professionalism. People, we have the same challenge here, and everybody gets paid here. Is the people that are helping organize it need to take a more roundabout view of what they want to achieve from having the sport. That's the most important thing, and that would make it easier for you guys doing what you're doing, and to continue to maybe to make things improve there. I mean, yeah, build rinks, but like I said to you, we've had 4 full-size rinks go up in this last 4 weeks here. You're not going to have that happen. So let's not go that route. If we can find a rink, great, but whatever, make the hockey that you've got better organized, and there for the right reasons.
Yep, I agree with that. Okay, Adam, another Lanarkshire under 13. I think we've had the whole Lanarkshire under 13 team asking a question.
Oh, great.
I
might just adopt them as my favorite
Martin's
Scottish.
threatened them. Martin's threatened them.
See, I'm just locked in as 10 different people, Barry.
Do you have any superstitions?
When I played, yes, I always put my left skate on first, then my right skate, tied my right skate, then my left skate. I always went from side to side, and like a lot of guys, if something good happened in a game, then I'd try and remember what I did, so the next day I'd do exactly the same thing for the next game and next practice.
Yeah, I think it's very much a hockey player thing, isn't it? All the superstitions.
Oh yeah, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to panic if I didn't get to skate the same route every time before the first face-off and things, which was usually to the bench, to sit on the end of the bench.
Yeah, me too. I've actually got a video that shows Sidney Crosby doing his warm-up, and it comes from him stretching all the way to him shooting in the net. And it's like 2 or 3 different pictures, different times, and he does exactly the same thing. So yes, we're not alone, I'll tell you.
There was one with Lundqvist in the playoffs last year as well. When he jumped on the ice, it was a split screen from 2 different games.
I've seen that one. Yeah,
exactly, mirror image, the same thing.
And it just seems to be very much a hockey thing. A lot of other sports don't do it. A lot of the other American sports aren't like that. But yeah, hockey definitely.
Okay, last question from Mark. Have Hungary always had a big hockey-minded culture? Did they have to take some convincing to change their mindset, I guess? And what can we do here to gain governmental traction to help grow our sport? There's a lot in there.
They
but the Hungary story is a good one.
They've always had hockey there. They've had hockey, like Great Britain had hockey from 2008? Yeah, sorry, 1908. Well, it was 1927, I think, that Hungary started, or 22 or something like that. So there was a little bit later, 1922. So they've had hockey there for a long time, but it wasn't until because of the communist years, it was put into clubs, the police team, the army team, and all that. So they were run as sports club, which still is kind of the case now. But as things changed, they had a guy come in to coach named Pat Cortina, and they won in 2008 and got promoted to the A pool, and that made a big difference to hockey here, a huge difference. And it was just after that they put together the TOW system, which was the government funding system here. That's how we started getting our money for everything. And they didn't just go from there. There's been a lot of things happen in that time period. But then again, we went back again in 2016, which was 2 years before Great Britain went up, and that gave us another boost where there was still more money put in. The situation here is we have good government funding, really good government funding. It's horrible to say, so good government funding that teams don't worry about getting fans to come into their games. So there's 2 teams that do, but most of the others don't. The funding is at the moment so high. So that's what's happened here, and they have started taking it more and more seriously. As for convincing them, they've needed some convincing over this last 2 years. They are a nation that thinks they know everything, so that isn't working out. It's getting better and better, but they're trying their best to try to move forward, and they do have a desire to move forward. To get it made seriously here, I think you need a real good lobbying situation of somebody who's, what you need is somebody who's a former ice hockey player who becomes a politician, to be quite honest.
There you go, Barry.
There's a few folk in Scottish ice hockey that are politicians, I'll tell you that.
Vote Lynch.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, well, if you look at it, when I was there, one of the things is like who got all the money? Who got their own money? Field hockey, track and field. Who was in charge of Sport England in those times? Guy from field hockey won Olympics in 1988. 2 or 3 track and field people, they were involved. And I think there was obviously somebody from swimming in there. That's where all the money went. Then a cyclist guy got in there. That's where all the money went to cycling. Hey, and it's fantastic that Great Britain have done really well in that. But it's really unfair on a lot of other sports, especially what your senior team have done and been able to do. It's just right now really unfair that you're not getting the support that you should have. Whether it does, it can be them giving you money or them opening up doors to help you find money. That's the other way of doing it.
Hopefully things are changing, Daryl. There's a lot of things. Hockey Scotland's going its own direction now, so we're in charge of our own destiny. So I think we might see some better alliances with the government, the governing bodies in Scotland. So just on that, I know that Sports Scotland put a lot of money into windsurfing because the guy's son done windsurfing. So that's what happened.
We've got a lot of wind as well in Scottish ice hockey, funnily enough.
Yeah, but we should be making energy with that, Barry.
Can his son skate?
We can get him a pair of skates, Mike.
It actually does make sense, of course, these situations, but it's so unfair when a nation does well in something and you guys aren't getting the support that you really need or should have.
Yeah. How many hockey players is there in Hungary, Daryl? Do you know?
7,000, coming up at 8,000, something like that.
I don't know.
We have a big normal system, but we also have a very big recreational system and a system that's really lower level men's hockey too. So, but we have something like 5,000 junior hockey players from U18 downwards.
5,000.
Yep.
Many we got, do you know?
I think in total we're up around the 6,000-7,000 mark as well. Maybe a little bit higher, but that's including rec. When there's more rec than there are junior.
Yeah, twice the number of rec in Scotland.
Yeah, you're probably. I don't know. I'd maybe take a guess at about 4,000 juniors, maybe something like that. I might be completely wrong, but
the number. One of the things that we have here is that public skating isn't a thing here. So we have teams practicing from 4 o'clock onwards every day. They usually have the older players practice earlier because they don't have to come out from school, and then they have the kids going through. But this is like almost every day. Yeah, they'll and that's the thing. Now, I understand public skating. Yeah, I worked in Nottingham, so I understand you have to make money, but they take up all the prime ice time schedules, and here. But this is because the funding doesn't come from that. The funding comes from the government. These people build these as just hockey rinks, and then they come. Sometimes we'll bring figure skating in, and sometimes have public skating too. And that's one of the challenges that you have. You can't get ice time. You can't get ice time. You can't get ice time, and what you get it the wrong time of the day.
I think it's a really good conversation you could have with all the adults, Daryl, on this, all the kind of coaches on this call at some point in the future about how you're doing it in Hungary and what's going on in Hungary. That's a really good conversation for all the kind of grown-up people. What about the kids? Have you any kind of last messages for the kids or anything kind of for the kids?
Just keep working. There's lots of the SIHA are doing a lot of things for you. You guys are really doing well, still being around and ready. And let's fingers crossed that you guys can be ready to get back on the ice before the end of the season, and we start making the most of getting it all back together again.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that comment. Guys, we're conscious of time here. It's 9:30. Some of these little ones might want to be getting off to bed. I see there's a couple lying on their couches with blankets over them and things like that. Guys, thank you very much for your time again tonight. That was another great webinar with some great insight of what it takes to become a pro hockey player. As always, Scottish Hockey are always really grateful to Daryl for giving up his time. Kids, can we all get a big 2 thumbs up on the screen for Daryl here to say thank you? Perfect. Great stuff. Daryl, thanks again. Would love to have you back. If you've got a spare hour sometime, let us know.
Anytime, just let me know.
And kids, remember tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we've got another great webinar lined up on growth mindset. It ties in with a lot of the things Daryl was talking about today. It's about how the way you think and the way your mind works can have a huge impact on your sporting career as well. So guys, thanks very much for your time, and let's see as many of you back on the webinar tomorrow that were here tonight. Okay, thanks guys, see you all soon.
Yeah.
Thanks.